Is Tom Girardi incompetent? Are we talking about his abilities as an attorney, a human being, or a defendant in the federal case against him due to recent indictments in LA federal court? Tom Girardi has been indicted on 5 counts of wire fraud. So is Tom Girardi incompetent to stand trial? Well, that is the claim by his attorneys, and recently a psychiatrist deemed him to have dementia due to late onset Alzheimer's. And when he was in court last month, the federal judge ordered for Tom Girardi to go under evaluation by a court-appointed psychiatrist to determine if he was indeed incompetent to stand trial. I think the question that all of us have is he faking his dementia to escape going to trial and potentially going to prison? And how did we get here? Here is a man who is probably one of the most famous trial attorneys in history. When I went to Loyola Law School, Tom Girardi was someone I looked up to. He was an alumni of my same law school. He was the people's attorney. He was featured in Aaron Brockovich as someone who went to bat for the underdog, for the common man.
How did you do this?
And he was the man who got huge settlements for victims. The 2018 Lion Air crash that killed all of the passengers and crew in Indonesia. Girardi is known for going after big companies like PG&E and just getting justice for his clients. But we have found out that he was actually stealing from his clients. Millions upon millions of dollars to fund his lavish lifestyle, that of him and his wife. Let's not forget his wife, Erika Jayne, who is very famous for ostentatiously showing their wealth on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I've been nothing but upfront and honest.
We're fighting a legal battle.
Apparently, it costs her $40,000 a month just for her glam crew. She is known for getting full makeup and wardrobe to go on a podcast that has no video component.
40 grand a month on glam?
Not on glam. Not
No.
just on glam, on everything.
And how is this okay? It's not okay. And this is why he has been indicted for counts of wire fraud in LA as well as in Chicago. And the courts have to determine now, is Tom Girardi competent enough to stand trial? There are 2 main elements that the courts look at: the ability to consult with his attorney and understand Miranda rights, because we want defendants to be able to understand what is happening to them. Now, it is my assumption that the psychiatric evaluation has taken place by the court-appointed psychiatrist, and we are waiting for the results of that to see if Tom Girardi will indeed go on to trial. But it's not always definitive. Recently, several high-profile cases regarding incompetency has led to defendants going on to trial. Remember the LA County Sheriff, Lee Baca? He was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for his role in a scheme to obstruct an FBI investigation of corruption and civil rights abuses in LA. However, an LA Superior Court judge ruled that adult film star Ron Jeremy was incompetent to stand trial on dozens of rape and sexual assault cases. So it will really depend on what the evaluation states. Now, for other incompetency defenses like insanity or other types of mental illness, a court can try to restore a defendant's ability to stand trial by going away to a mental institute where they could undergo psychiatric help, therapy, or medication. But that type of restoration is unlikely for dementia cases because dementia due to Alzheimer's is usually irreversible. So it's hard to restore one's mental abilities if they have a dementia diagnosis. What is interesting is in August of 2021, Girardi signed a declaration declaring his plan to not testify and assert his Fifth Amendment right, which is what Alec Baldwin should have done, as I stated in my last video. But this points to his ability to comprehend what is happening. Attorneys who are observing this case pointed out, well, as of that moment in time, August of 2021, he had the mental capacity to understand what was happening and assert his Fifth Amendment right. So has his mental capacity decreased since then? And that is something that will have to be determined. Now, interestingly, the California State Bar has pointed out that Girardi is potentially faking his dementia as a way of getting out of going to trial and going to prison. And this is a huge, shocking reverse because the California bar has been accused of turning a blind eye to Girardi's many, many years of bad acting, stealing from clients. I mean, there have been hundreds of complaints to the California State Bar due to Girardi not paying his clients. And there has been research shown that the California bar did not do their job and did not go after Girardi. And as a California attorney who has been licensed for 17 years, I am now being told that I have to be transparent with my client trust accounts and do extra work to get my license renewed each year, specifically because of Tom Girardi's wrongdoing and blatantly awful stealing from his clients. So what does this all mean? It's my belief that Tom Girardi has been undergoing psychiatric evaluations in this last month to determine if he can go to trial. Remember, he has stolen millions and millions of dollars from his clients. He stole from widows and children to fuel his lavish lifestyle, to keep his wife in huge diamonds and new clothes and fancy cars. And as an attorney, this makes me sick because when I took my oath to be an attorney, I promised to help those who are powerless and voiceless. And Tom Girardi has violated that oath. And I know I always try to be very neutral, but I want him to be held accountable for what he did to all of his clients who expected him to protect them and take care of them. And instead, he stole their money, and he has admitted as much. I mean, I know we're supposed to allow people to be found guilty, but he has admitted that he took the money, and now he states that he had at one point $50 to $80 million cash, and now that's all gone. Of course, it's very convenient that him and his wife, Erika Jayne, got divorced just recently, and there have been some claims that he funneled money to her and that this divorce is actually a sham to hide the money. I wonder what will be discovered during trial. It's possible that a government expert can say, well, he's not doing great, but he can probably stand trial and he understands what's going on. So then the court will allow him to stand trial. What the court is going to look at is the fact that these allegations of wrongdoing happen in a 10-year period. So the court has to take into consideration during those 10 years, was Girardi competent and understanding how he was stealing from his clients? I think there's going to be evidence that shows that he knew exactly what was happening. The second part of the consideration has to be, is he currently competent and understanding of what is happening to him? The fact that he's been indicted for 5 counts of wire fraud in federal court, does he understand his attorney's counsel? Is he able to help his attorney give him a complete defense? What the psychiatrist has to determine. Stay tuned. I am going to do a follow-up video. If you guys are interested, please comment below. If you found this video to be of value and you learned something, please consider subscribing because it really does help my new channel. And if you didn't catch my last video about the South Park lawsuits, catch it here. It is a $500 million lawsuit that HBO Max brought against South Park and Paramount for double dipping, giving the content that was promised to HBO to Paramount instead, whereby Stone and Parker have made over $1.4 billion on their South Park IP. Just amazing considering this IP is over 20 years old. I'm Tyler, the Hollywood attorney. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.